Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Solana. Make this very quick and easy. We have this upper level liquidation. It's pretty heavy. Obviously, we've known that for a little while, but the price is pulling back too with this ABC pattern. So there's a solid chance we're going to see one more low here, just based on how poorly altcoins are paired with Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin dominance is shooting straight up. Very few altcoins, minus Cardano, mind you, which is a very unique thing, is essentially pumping. So for the most part, every single altcoin is bleeding out, and I think we should just expect the price to pull back a little bit further. Now keep in mind 230, the candle wick came perfectly down to 230, so congrats to those who caught along there, but if you didn't secure profits, I'm sorry, you're probably losing out here at this point. Again, just throwing it out there because it's important to recognize that when you do take longs or shorts, you want to make sure to watch them closely and secure profits when you can. The market is so choppy right now, it is insane. In fact, if you didn't see this yesterday, this is the easiest way to describe Bitcoin right now. Smashing all the liquidation levels to the upside, smashing liquidation to the downside. It just keeps on chopping the competition, so to speak, and that's pretty much people like you and I. We're not the one controlling the market. So anyways, that is relevant because every time that happens with Bitcoin, altcoins keep getting the old reset button, and we're starting to see most of them establish lower highs and soon to be lower lows here as far as larger movements. So again, just kind of a preface there with Solana. We'll quickly look at liquidation and highlight a couple of talking points and call it a day for you. So do me a favor, hit the like button, folks. If you see less than 100 likes down below, you're not doing your job. Hit that button. And if you hit it twice, it technically doesn't stick. So just make sure that's still enabled. Anyways, conversation for another day. Let's take a look at the last 7 days of liquidation. And as we highlighted before, again, 250, 248, that little range there, pretty solid amount of liquidation there. However, we look here a little bit lower, we can see 228 to 230 also starting to get pretty heavy. So we could even round down and say 225 to 230 is that heavy concentration of liquidation to the downside. So that's essentially the next area of consideration. That's exactly why you oftentimes will see one more leg down on these kind of downtrends, especially since we've had such a significant movement from Solana in the overall last few months, right? So it does make sense that the price is going to cool off, especially if Bitcoin starts to do the same thing. Now again, we're in this weird little thing right now where Bitcoin is essentially creating all-time highs and altcoins are plummeting. That is so weird to see. You expect altcoins just to be surging, right? But that's not how the world works anymore. The crypto world is so much different now, way different than it was 2 to 3 years ago. So again, just some things to kind of think about. Quickly to note, liquidation delta is fairly high. This has been staying too high for too long, so all the more reason why a pullback would make even more sense, just based on a simple sentiment that when you have too many longs or too many shorts in one direction, the whales, the market movers, whatever you want to call them, they're going to notice that and they're going to go ahead and sweep that area. And at this point here, it would make sense for these longs to get swept, right? This little area of concentration between 225 roughly and 230. Okay, so I think that it would make sense for the price to continue a bit lower here for Solana. Having said that, let's take a look at the one last thing here. Let's look at open interest and kind of see where we have the most amount of positions. What do you know? Right there at that resistance 238. You can see that reflected on the charts here, 238. It's that local point of control right there with the upper lead on the cloud. Okay, so we are officially down and below the Ichimoku cloud. So the confirmation here is basically letting us know that further downside would make more sense, considering we have that strong resistance at 238. So bumper sticker is at 230 is a support, 238 is a resistance. We're kind of in that range. There is still a slightly larger propensity for further downside based on liquidation in the back end. So let's take a look here at the SMAs and kind of recognize a few things. As per usual, daily time frame is going to be bullish. We are finally getting back to 70, back to life, back to reality. You may recognize or have heard that song before, those lyrics. But the truth is, once we hit 70 on the RSI, you should consider securing profits on a long position. That's usually how it's supposed to work. So we're right there at that level. We want it to cross over first, of course, but the consensus there is that we're starting to lose momentum, and it would make sense for us to see a pullback for Solana in that regard. I'm going to update our support range and fib levels here. So just note this is something that does require updating. Actually, the fibs are good here, but overall, let me summarize the daily time frame for you. It's mostly good. We're still in decent shape. Nothing like super bearish, but we're seeing small little cracks in the glass, kind of letting us know that it would make sense to see a bit more of a correction to the downside. We got this fair value gap as low as 221. So if you're going to consider a short, I think a short to about 225, that lower liquidation level, and or that lower fair value gap, about 222, I'm rounding up. But let's just say 226 to 222. That would be a solid consideration for a target if you were to consider shorting. Again, just throwing it out there. I'm not telling you should, but let's see if there's anything in the charts that tells us otherwise. We're testing 50 on the RSI, so we don't get a bounce here soon. We could very well see further downside. We can see money flow index is pulling back with it. Stochastic and MACD are all diverging. So for the most part, this 4-hour time frame has shifted its momentum. We can also see this short-term trend line running concurrent with the 20-day SMA has been broken. We're officially underneath that, and it's been bearishly backtested as a resistance. So 238/local high is essentially that new area of resistance here for us. So just know that that exists. And if we take a look at the hourly, we can recognize too, of course, we are below the cloud as per usual. When that happens, you're generally not going to want to take a long position, okay? And again, a lot of different factors exist here, right? The conversion line and baseline there kind of intersecting, telling us this we don't have tremendous momentum to the downside. Obviously, Bitcoin's maintaining 94K. Same thing here with stochastic, or correction, sorry, the lagging span. That is free and clear, but only for a few more hours. However, being below the cloud, that's the most definitive thing for me. You can see this pretty obvious resistance range for us that we are now underneath, okay? So this is going to be working as a resistance for us here. So hypothetically, the price should essentially continue lower. That's basically what it's telling us. So small time frames exuding significant bearish divergence. 4-hour time frame is shifted its momentum to that as well. The only thing kind of lagging is the daily time frame. We can't trust that because that is a pretty significant time frame that was pretty overextended. So I think that we're more likely to see further downside here for Solana. So if I were to consider shorting, just kind of throwing it out there, I would consider a take profit target in the 225 to 226 range. I wouldn't get super greedy, but if you want to trim some profit, price may continue a bit lower. Just know we got a decent amount of support here based on our point of control. The more macro point of control, if you will, for the month of November, we've spent, or essentially have the highest amount of volume at about 220. So just know, remember, $220 is like that stronger key level. It would make a ton of sense for the price to pivot and bounce off that if we come that low. All right. Anyways, those are just some things to think about. I hope that was beneficial for you. Hope you learned something today. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below. Join us over on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord too if you want to kind of stay in the know regarding all the coins that I analyze too. It's all here for you. I look forward to working with you though, folks. Hope you have a good one. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you.